So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To Dr. Suyatno Ladiqi and to all the viewers of this video. I believe this will be my last assignment that I will prepare for, a special for Dr. Suyatno. But I hoping for maybe we can working together and I still have um, a lot of things that I need to learn from Dr. Siano. So I hope in future, inshallah, will be more interesting future offers. So this um, video will be I will talk about the effect of capitalism to environment. My name is Muhammad Aiman Ruzaimi and my metric number is 050803. So talking about the effect of capitalism to environment, I believe that we can clearly see the impact, but in this video, I would like to assess it carefully so it could give us comprehensive understanding towards the topics. So, introduction. The ecologists and environmental scientists often regard that overpopulation and exploitation of natural resources as important elements in anticipation of the environmental crisis. Um, Even though we focus on the overpopulation and the exploitation, but there is some topics that sometimes we are not focusing on. We often to left it behind, and it causes a great impact. Um, so other than overpopulation, they argue that overpopulation with uncontrolled industrial activities cause environmental disasters such as global warming, climate change, acid deposition, degradation, air and water pollution to occur, and so on. But without denying these factors, overpopulation factors, and so on, um, we have to understand that industrial output from both developed and developing country have negative impacts on climate, but it often missing in their analysis that environmental threat of capitalism as a universal economic system. So we need to discuss it um, more about this so we can understand comprehensive what is basically um, industrial impact towards the environment. So, and what we can change. So, before we go further, I believe that we have to understand what is capitalism. And capitalism is defined as a production for profit for a competitive market, where the capitalist economic system is motivated to maximize the profits. So, on the other hand, capitalism presents positive effect on human life, such as increased productivity and its extraordinary growth rate. But um, we have to understand that the logic of profit maximization encourage manufacturer to specialize in what is best producing and invest in the latest technology to increase productivity and efficiency. We have to understand the objective of maximizing profit also provide incentive to entrepreneurs to increase productivity on a large scale in order to optimize the profit, right? So we have to question if the capitalism is only talk about how we're going to maximize profit and so on. So how capitalism talk and how capitalism perspective on the environment, because the main point of capitalism is to maximize profit, even though they are doing it by the wrong way, right? By neglect the environmental factors or environment future and so on. But um, if if neglect environment is to maximize profit, then it will be good for capitalism. So this is a very serious problem in capitalism. So the question is, what is the real impact of capitalism on the environment? If it is true, the capitalism is very successful, projecting itself as the engine of world productivity and growth, why should it be blamed for environmental disaster? Like I said, the objective, if we understand the objective of capitalism, so we understand that um, if the way to maximize the profit is to neglect the environment, so it will be true and it will be okay for capitalism. So here, the dynamics of capitalism that underlies its virtue also cause it disease. Like I said, as much profit is good for human, for job opportunity, but for environmental is can cause a negative impact. So capitalism requires unending growth of production in order to remain stable. So this is a problem, basic problem that we need to understand, right? So there are two properties and dynamics of capitalism that must be studied if one wants to understand its impacts on the environment. First, we have companies in capitalist state are under great pressure to cut costs because otherwise their competition will do it. So as their competitors reduce the cost of being able to reinvest the company growth, and it will create the competition to be more competitive. If one company refuses to do so, to cut the costs and refuse to maximize the profit, the company will immediately be removed from the market by another party. So, in order to survive in capitalism system, you need to cut costs, you need to maximize your profit, right? So, second, the value of non-renewable natural resources under capitalism is usually structured through a framework of short-term thinking that has almost no consideration for the future value of these limited resources. The rate of greenhouse gas emission into the atmosphere has increased sharply since mid 1990, driven primarily by strong economic growth in industrial and developing countries that often use large amount of natural resources such as oil, gas, and other minerals. They're doing this because they have a framework of thinking, which is they need to develop, they need to use natural resources in order to develop the country. So this is what is meant by short-term thinking. They're not think in long term. They're not able to see what is going to be if the resources is gone. And talk about conclusion. Capitalism clearly contribute to the development and standard of living human being towards the better. However, there is no denying that benefit pose various threats to the future of the environment that we need to overlook, that we need to carefully assess how we need to um, benefit from capitalism and also need to manage the capitalism towards the better future for us and better environment. I believe this will be my last opportunity to talk to Dr. Suyatno and my classmate. So, Doctor, I would like to say thanks for all of maybe these 3 years. I saw and I have known you for about since my first year. I You are very great lecturers. You are not just my lecturers. You're like my father here, and I learned a lot from you. And I hope so. I pray for that one day I will become someone like you that have a good heart and very passionate in teach your students, teach about IR and so on. You not only teach us about IR, you also teach us how to survive in this world, how to be a strong man, how to become a better human. So I hope um, I pray for your health. I pray for your better future and your family, of course. So thank you, Rata, again. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope we can see each other in the future, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.